Despite the fact that time flies by really fast, you really couldn't tell when it came to coming back to seeing Fozzy once again in VIP access. It seemed like only yesterday since the first time I went to Margate and went to see them live in performance and got to meet with the band. But on the second time around you could feel the excitement and buzz running right through your veins again. You know what was going to happen. You know what was lying ahead, and yet you'll just be making more discoveries as you go along. Having met up with Fozzy VIPs Rob and Kim, as well as the reps Anne and Craig so early, we arrived in and knew what the situation was from last time. We knew what the setup was going to be like, and we pretty much got a great enjoyment once again, this time on a completely different stage. After some friendly hellos again with Rich, Sean, Frank and Billy, we got treated to some soundcheck performance, which much like before, you got to hear the sounds perfectly. The fact that Chris wasn't there for the soundcheck wasn't a disappointment, but I knew the lyrics off by heart anyway, and I could have easily just stood there in his replacement. Next time for VIP, karaoke with the band. Make it happen. After another amazing soundcheck, Chris emerged and dinner arrived as well. This time around we were having curry and it was quite a nice atmosphere. Just the 3 VIPs as well as the rest of the band. It was a nice little community to be involved in, discussing different things such as Red Hot Chili Peppers, Alter Bridge, Billy's other band Dangerous New Machine, the Golden Gods, football, and even discussing the new album that was in the works. The details that Chris gave away in particular got me really excited. I am looking forward to the next album. It was also nice and interesting to hear how Chris's thought process for writing songs comes about, that it's usually the inverse of what most people do. It's just one of those things that it's always nice to hear from the person's mouth. So to get a full insight, I highly recommend just going to a VIP experience and asking these questions to Chris yourself. After doing some signings, photographs and farewells, we headed off into the main stage area where we got treated to some warm-up acts. For the life of me, out of the 3 warm-up acts, the main ones that stood out were Voodoo Vegas, the band that had been selected to cover for the tour. They have just been absolutely fantastic. They're an unsigned band, they're amazing, they need checking out and support, so go and check them out. With the gig itself, it was a different atmosphere to Margate. The difference of the stage certainly added to that factor. It was very hot, there was real no ventilation, but the fans were absolutely insane. There was certainly a lot more wrestling fans this time around than what there was with the previous Margate gig, which made it interesting as I spent a lot of time almost virtually bowing towards the band as they were on stage. My shins were a completely different colour after that night. Much like before, Fozzy had destroyed Margate once again, but they certainly fought against a very heavy crowd and also intense heat. And this is one of those situations where you have full respect for the artists that you love, that even in intense heat, where you can barely stand almost at the end of it, you still keep going to the point. And this is why Fozzy really know how to make a night special, even when they're practically almost melted away from the heat. We got treated to some of the old classics and there's a couple of new additions in the mix, but I'm not going to spoil them for you because in the end, if you want to discover what the place is like, check them out yourself. Despite being absolutely worn down and sweated out, I still had some really good highlights of the night. I managed to catch one of Frank's drumsticks, which eventually would see a reunion once again. I also hung out with the other VIPs and we went to an after party. We got to chill down with Chris afterwards. It was just a nice serene atmosphere where we could just chill and relax and not have to worry about a thing. We stayed up until 4 o'clock in the morning. I can certainly say that it was an absolutely brilliant time aside from red shinness and being absolutely beaten down from the crowd. There's one thing that's for certain. Fozzy know how to make an experience worthwhile. Which is why even though I'd only planned to be seeing one of their gigs, I'd be returning to see them very soon.